Hi guys, it's Sally Strength here, and on the topic of Sally Says, we're going to talk about spine health. I'm here with Waterloo's very own Daniel Gilmore from Waterloo Chiropractic Services in Waterloo. So, this is our first little real Q&A at Sally Strength, and I think it's super important to talk about spine health because this poor spine, it just walks around and it just supports us in everything we do, and we don't give it some love. So I just thought I'd have a quick chat with Daniel. So Daniel, I'm just going to ask you some 10 questions. Actually, before I do, just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I'm a Waterloo chiropractor, and I've been in the local suburb for 5 years.
Yeah, cool.
I'm a Perth boy originally, and
Nice.
obviously met your good self because of your excellent reputation in the personal training world around the local area, and looking forward to getting through these 10 questions unscathed.
Awesome, let's go. Let's see how we go. Okay, first question is, if you were a superhero, Daniel, who would you be and why? Everybody knows I love Wonder Woman, so don't worry about me.
The reason for this is because this is one of the very few toys we have in the clinic for the kids when they come in. But
oh, awesome.
I'd have to go with Spider-Man. He's been with me for 5 years, and he's had a few little stitches, and he's been torn apart, but he keeps bouncing back. So
awesome.
Spider-Man's my answer.
Why Spider-Man though?
I think he's probably fairly agile. Got some pretty good talent in terms of. Can pretty much climb any surface. And,
awesome.
And just seems to be a good fella.
Cool. If everyone's on, if you can hear us, just give me a like or say a hey, okay? Just let us know how the feedback is. Second question. In one sentence, please describe what you do. What do you do?
Professionally, as a chiropractor, I suppose. I suppose I look after people's spines.
Yep.
When they're injured, achy, or even when they're functioning quite well,
yep.
just to make sure that people and their spinal health is spot on. So that's basically what a chiropractor does. Taking
care of your spine. Now, number 3, how can spinal awareness or skeletal awareness, you need to correct me, you're the professional, help people live a better life? Why should we take care of our spines?
I think when you get asked these types of questions, you've got to understand the statistics around health data, but 4 out of 5 people experience low back pain in their life.
That's a lot. So, I know I'm one of them.
Yeah, so if you have low back pain in your life, it's quite common. Obviously, the majority of people would, and each episode would typically go for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So obviously, I think it's really important that if you do have an episode, we want to make sure that someone, returns to normal life, pain-free as soon as possible, and certainly beat the 6-week natural history of low back pain. So that's basically the goal, I suppose.
Yeah, and that's awesome because we want to be pain-free because we want to be able to move, yeah?
We want to be able to move and train hard and be healthy.
Awesome, so that takes us into the next question. How is movement essential in your life?
In my life? I think, I sort of, when I read that question, I reflected on what the sort of activities I've been up to in my life. And, I've played sport, both social and at a, professional level. And I think having a healthy spine and being able to move really well has, given me an opportunity to interact with people. It's given me a job. I think that movement is probably one of the necessities of life that is probably not talked about a lot, to be honest. Oftentimes if I've got a patient that's a bit deconditioned that's not exercising, I sort of talk about what it would be like to be, chained up in one spot for, a week at a time, and it would drive me crazy. And it's because movement is just a necessity of us as human beings.
So we have to move,
basically.
Absolutely. Good question. Good answer. Number 5, what is your go-to for a quick and healthy meal? Because I know a lot of people out there, they have a lot of issues with what to eat, how to eat, busy lifestyle, Sydney lifestyle. So, what's your go-to?
I'm very lucky in that my wife is an incredible cook. So, chef, I should say.
Brownie points.
Absolutely. So, I think that a nice, beautiful piece of Atlantic salmon on the barbecue with yeah, some steamed rice and veggies
Yep.
is probably about as far as I go, but it seems to be a well balanced meal, and
Yep.
my dietitian in the clinic gives it the tick of approval, so that's,
Awesome.
that's what my expertise.
Nice one. Number 6, what do you say to people who want a quick fix in terms of like spine or back pain or, you know, fat loss?
Well, the reality is that I think, you know, there is no such thing as a quick fix. It's really, good health is built on good habits. So whether that's someone wanting to drop some weight because of their, you know, body consciousness, or it's just healthy to be obviously nice and lean, you know, there really is no quick fix. So there's no quick supplement, there's no quick, you know, dietary, you know, opportunity or treatment out there. It's really about getting into good habits, and I think that's where your expertise in strength and conditioning is so important for people. They've got to get into good habits and be able to sustain that for a long period of time.
Yeah, then definitely I agree with a lot of things that Daniel says. Habit is a massive, massive thing, and these days everybody definitely wants a quick fix, but the thing is it takes at least, you know, 12 weeks to see a proper result in you if it's an ongoing thing. 6 months is a real good indicator, and 1 year, if you can maintain it, then that's the thing for you. That's the kind of food, lifestyle movement that really works well for you. So it's long term, definitely. And it is a habit, a good habit, yeah?
Building good habits.
Yeah, definitely. Yep. Tell me about a success story that you had recently.
I think that question sort of points to clinically in the clinic.
Yep.
Oh, look, I think what I love about being a chiropractor is that we tend to see cases in the clinic that have either not responded to massage or to physio or to, because people's first choice often is a different method. And so we tend to get relatively complex cases as a chiropractor. Off the top of my head, I think it's really probably, you know, cases where there's multiple injuries that are low level, where someone's been probably diagnosed with fibromyalgia or, you know, multiple tendinopathies or whatever it is, and just through working through something succinctly, we've been able to, you know, if not have the condition resolved, we've been able to improve it to the point where they can start, you know, exercising and getting back to the gym.
And that's a huge thing. That's a huge thing when people become a little bit, people are just used to having pain. And it's just like a part of life, and then it stops them from sitting on a desk or going to a gym or doing something, and it affects you in mental health, really.
Absolutely.
Doesn't it?
100%.
Yeah, okay, so that's awesome. So I've got a few questions from people who can't make it on live, so I thought I would ask them. The first one is from Evelyn. Evelyn asks, how long should I go to a chiro? Is it, let's ask the first question first part of it. How long should I go to the chiro? Which is a random kind of question.
I think one of the misconceptions out there is that people think that if you attend a chiropractic clinic, you're going to be going forever. Really, that the length of your treatment, or the duration of your treatment, is case specific. So sometimes it's, you know, one hit and they're out the door. Other times you've got to work through the case until they're asymptomatic or pain free for a period of time before you can kind of trust the healing. So, but of course, you know, the spine deals with multiple factors constantly. So weight bearing load, sitting, you know, poor posture. And then oftentimes these things can be precursors to injuries, and they come back. So
and I guess the next one would be on adding to that is, like, if you sit on a desk all day. You know, like, obviously that's not, is that a normal kind of?
I mean, that might be unwinding that sitting posture is one of the reasons why I might have a maintenance patient, because they've got low back pain and they've got to sit for work, and they might be a little bit lazy with their exercises or whatever it is, and so they come in for their adjustment, and they ultimately become a management maintenance type patient. So, but of course it's always patient. The patient gets to have that decision. Unfortunately, these things tend to come back. So the recurrence of low back pain, neck pain, migraines, headaches, you know, these things do come back, and we tend to see people, you know, throughout their lifetime. So,
So it's definitely maintenance kind of thing, and you know, you need to move. You need to move. You can't just do one thing and neglect the other.
Absolutely.
So that's a great point that Daniel mentioned. What about all these devices that we're using these days? Obviously, is that going to affect someone's posture? Like, you know, your iPhone, your you know, your
Yeah,
little tablets and kids using a lot of that lately.
Yeah, look, I think it's probably a little bit overstated, to be honest.
Oh, really? Okay.
I mean, look, it's definitely changed. It's definitely changed the way we work and read and study, etc. But yeah, I don't think it. You know, looking at a device, obviously neck pain is probably a big one. But what people may not realise is that, you know, by sitting in a head-forward posture, you actually take a fairly large proportion of your body weight in front of your pelvis, which can give some low back pain as well. But look, I think these types of devices where there's, you know, where you're looking at something in two dimension, right up close. Yeah. You know, it's sort of not overly good for our stress levels as well. Yeah. So, you know, again, like your good self, Sal, it's you know, people working with tablets or iPhones or computers, they've got to get themselves outside and exercise and try and unwind the stress of the day. So
so it's spine, it's movement, it's stress relief. Those are all the little factors that you need to keep in mind. And food is king. Absolutely. Real food is king. Yeah, not all those like supplements and things like that. Yeah, supplements are important to some athletes, to some people. However, we're not the specialists in that field, but you know, everything within reason. The next question from Joey. Joey, where are you? She said, what's the difference? This is probably a question that you get asked all the time. What's the difference between a chiro and a physio? You know, what's the benefits of the chiro? And you know, we touched on lower back pain as well.
I think to understand the difference between the two professions, you kind of need to understand the historical roots. But chiropractors have been around for over 100 years, and we've...
Well, you look really young, actually.
Oh no, I'm not over 100, but look, I think chiropractors have inherently always dealt with conditions of the spine, and philosophically there's been some differing opinions within the profession, but ultimately, if you really want to nail what the chiropractor deals with, it's the spine in general. That's what we own from a mechanical neurophysiological point of view. But physiotherapist, again, I've had a lot of interaction with physios given my sort of sporting days and running sort of sporting programs, and I sort of understand their expertise, and there's no doubt the two can coexist in a case. But look, physios are very good at rehab, soft tissue injuries, acute injury management. Of course, they can treat the spine as well. So we have different skill sets. It really just depends on what treatment plan you respond to. As long as you've got an accurate diagnosis and the treatment plan beats what we call natural history, which is if the injury just sort of was allowed to heal by itself with no treatment, then really you've had a successful treatment plan, and sometimes you just need to find the right practitioner.
Awesome. So diagnosis is king. So I'm going to touch on that diagnosis. How do you take us through a little initial stage of diagnosing someone? Just say I come in, I've got lower back pain. I can't bend forward as much. It's hurting me to bend back. How would you assess me initially? Would you send me for?
No, look. Every before we get to a diagnosis, we take a history. So we ask a fairly, there's a process in terms of taking a good history to get the information we need. Then once we've had a history, we probably arrive at a few different diagnoses that could be going on, and from there we examine the patient to test our hypothesis. And when the history plus the examination align, you've probably got a relatively accurate diagnosis. Sometimes you would scan to confirm that. Other times you would trial treatment. But in a clinical setting, there's always some doubt. But obviously, if the practitioner is knowledgeable and they've got a good, physical examination, you should arrive at a diagnosis. And the thing that probably backs up the diagnosis the most is what we call what it's called an orthopedic test.
Orthopedic test.
So an orthopedic test is basically designed to elicit the symptom that the person's suffering from. So, for instance, low back pain. If you take someone into extension, and that elicits local low back pain, then we would arrive at a diagnosis that. So
there's a process. There's a really strict process that we need to follow. Also, trainers or exercise scientists, we follow a strict process to find exactly what your issues are, what we need to address. And that's the same thing, I guess, with the lower back pain. You've got processes.
100%,
Okay, so if someone's got lower back pain, Daniel, how are they going to find you? Where are you? Tell them where they can find you.
Yeah, well, these days with the beauty of the internet, you can find us obviously online through the website. So that's waterloochiropractic.com.au. Book online. You can call the clinic, 9690-0911.
We'll add the link at the bottom too as well.
Yeah, and
definitely.
and that's we're always only a phone call away. So
awesome. And what else? What other services have you got here?
We have remedial sports massage therapy. We've got a wonderful dietitian and nutritionist, Karis Walsh, and we have some small sort of group Pilates, which is designed to rehabilitate the really deconditioned spine back to the gym where you can take over. So,
yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. I've just got one more question actually. I've got a lot of clients who have just had a baby.
Yep.
Okay, so post-pregnancy, Joey's also mentioned that she just had a baby, and you know, a lot of the times, hand in hand, baby and back pain.
Yep.
So Joey just said, what's the best steps to get it better?
Yeah, I think if the back pain is sort of doesn't resolve in the first week or two after birth, then you probably are starting this into the category of something that probably needs to be checked over.
Yep.
So basically, we would put you through a history and examination, and we would obviously identify where the issue is. But if the lady is given birth and the pelvis, you can imagine what happens to the pelvis and the lower back during that time, plus the later stages of pregnancy, it's just about basically taking the pressure off things like your lumbar discs, your sacroiliac joints.
Awesome. So Joey, you need to see Daniel, and and also like picking up babies. It also puts a lot of pressure. Breastfeeding and sitting on a desk. If you're going back to work, there's a lot of pressure.
100%.
To do a lot. So Joey, you need to come and see Daniel, get an assessment, and go from there. Get a correct diagnosis. Well, I think that wraps it up for today. Daniel's my first. So thanks so much, Daniel. And I forgot to introduce James. James the spine. So spine health is super important. Get a correct diagnosis. Find the correct practitioner. Daniel's at Waterloo on Lachlan Street. He's really, really good. I've seen him a couple of times. Come and holler, and I'm going to send the link, put the link on there. So thank you so much, guys, for joining in. Thanks, Daniel. And your spine is super important. So is health. Sally says your spine is king.